an atheist and an anti-theist, ladies and gentlemen.
Gosh, that was easy.
You simply show them the absolute absurdity of their own position. His first salvo at the God of the Bible was like a guided missile that he fired at God. It swooped around God and it came and it targeted himself. Why? Is because now he made it clear that he objects to God giving commands and actions because they do not conform to the value judgments that he believes should be universal. That means he's a celestial dictator too. The only problem is he doesn't have the muscle to enforce it. What he's really objecting to is that God has the muscle because he is impotent. But God what he says, okay, I thought that you tapped out. Have you tapped back in? Now,
well, that was another claim. You're claiming that I'm scared of it because of the muscle.
What you're really
God has the muscle.
What you're really objecting to, okay? Well, we're presupposing the God of the Bible's existence, okay? So what you're doing right now is a bait and switch. If you want to discuss the actuality of the existence of God and the God of the Bible, we can switch to that topic. But you said that your objection was that God was a celestial dictator. But you see, you want to be the celestial dictator. Okay?
It's not by my standard. It's by,
no,
my reasoning is what I will make the case for to be the most logical standard.
Listen, dude. Listen carefully. Please don't overtalk me. You are an absolute incoherent hypocrite, and here's why. You object to God being the celestial dictator, but you want to be the celestial dictator in that you want the universe to operate in terms of events and value judgments according to the way you think. Okay?
I would argue that the way I think is based upon the way that it has happened. So
okay, listen, no. Listen to me. Do you want the world, the heavens and the earth, the universe, the cosmos, do you want it to operate, including value judgments, according to the way you think?
No, I don't really care. My views and
guess what? Guess what? You just stepped on another landmine. You just blew your. Listen. We're done. We're done. You just stepped on another landmine. Your dog food all over the landscape now. You just
how?
Is this amazing how obtuse these people are? The Black Knight had both arms cut off, both legs, and he still thinks he's in the fight. Listen to me. You just told me that God's commands and actions are inconsistent and abhorrent to your value judgments.
Standard of well-being, yes.
It doesn't matter what the specifics are. The God of the Bible's commands and actions are incompatible with your mental states. Isn't that correct?
It's not just my mental states.
Your mental states includes your value judgments. Is the God of the Bible's commands and don't overtalk me. Is the God of the Bible's commands and actions inconsistent with your mental states and value judgments?
I would say that the Bible's claims of God's actions are against well-being in specific.
Okay, I'm not hearing a clear answer. Okay, we're going to try one more time. Are the commands and actions of the Bible absolutely incompatible and inconsistent with how you reason things should be?
All of the commands?
Some or all. Are some or all of the actions and commands of God inconsistent and incompatible the way you reason things ought to be?
I understand exactly what Tom Rabbit was saying earlier. Oh my God, you're pointing this direction at me, or this question at me.
He's dancing.
But you're
he's dancing. You're dancing. You're dancing.
Okay, listen to me. I'm going to unmute you now. Now, I asked you the question. Okay. It's a legitimate question based upon your accusations against the God of the Bible. Either you're going to answer the question, or you're going to pretend to answer the question while trying to deceive me and others that you're answering the question, which you're not. And at that moment, I will server meet you.
I understand.
Now,
can I have 15 seconds to answer?
Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I'm okay.
Good.
Can I have 15 seconds?
I want you to answer the question I asked you.
I will. Do I have 15 seconds to answer, Darth?
Yes.
Yes. Some of the views in the Bible are against what I believe to be the case, but what I believe to be the case of what is a good or moral action is subject to evidence and demonstrable proof. So I can
You're just rehashing the same crap. You're just rehashing the same crap.
I mean, this is unbelievable. You can't.
No, you just don't understand.
Can you get? Wait a minute. Wait. No. What you're saying is, I mean, this is just unbelievable. So here's the bottom line: is this? The God of the Bible's commands and actions are inconsistent and incompatible to how you reason things should be. Is that correct?
Right.
Good. Guess what? You've now condemned yourself. You've now shot yourself in the head because now you want to be the celestial dictator.
But I'm saying that I'm not the absolute source of it.
You're not understanding. You want God. Wait a minute. You want God to conform to your reasoning.
Yes, you did.
That's right.
So guess what? Listen to me. Hey, I've been vastly patient with you. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line in the sand. If you lie one more time, if you try to obfuscate, you will be removed from the VC. You have now gone on record saying that the God of the Bible, in terms of his commands and actions, are incompatible and incoherent with your reasoning, and that the God of the Bible, whatever he is, should conform to the way you think. That is your position. Well, guess what? Okay. Now you lied. Now you're gone. You can get the hell out of here.
Bye, Gary.
Okay. I just kicked him from the server.
You see that little troll comment at the end there?
You see, he complained that he objected to God being the celestial dictator because guess what? Guess what I just revealed? He wants to be the celestial dictator.
That's right.
And then he asked that little troll comment at the end of that little Gary thing. It doesn't matter what they think your real name is. He revealed that he was a troll.
What he was doing is once I dropped the hammer that he was being persistent in being deceptive, not disagreeing with me, but being deceptive, then he decided to reveal that he's a little troll. So he says he doesn't want God to be the celestial dictator, but his insistence against God being the celestial dictator, it means that he's the celestial dictator. The only difference between God and this guy is God has the muscle and he doesn't. But you see, if he had the muscle,
there you go.
If he had the muscle, he would enforce it. So he would be the celestial dictator. You see how incoherent these people are? The real issue is they don't want God being God. They want to be God.
Exactly. And they don't want to be honest about it.
Isn't that the entire dispute, Darth? That's the entire dispute. That's the entire dispute, that people do not want to submit and surrender to God be the boss of our lives. They want to be their own God, and nobody above them.
I mean, I couldn't believe how he stepped on the landmine multiple times. He said his first objection was God is a celestial dictator, but he wants reality and value judgments and people's conduct to conform to those value judgments according to his reason. Well, guess what? That's what we call a celestial dictator.
Well, wasn't it Satan that wanted to be God and remove God from being God, and then himself making it God above the true God? And I mean, isn't that the problem, that people they don't want to have anyone above them?
Okay, and you know what's interesting? Whatever slavery occurred in the Old Testament, which was predominantly indentured servitude, okay? Notice how they make a big issue out of that, but how come none of them mention the fact that the greatest slaughter of human beings in the human history took place during the 20th century under dictatorships by atheists who didn't believe God was looking over their shoulder, and they slaughtered unimaginable hundreds of millions of people. Yet we never hear them talk about that. But you see, God, who allowed predominantly indentured servitude, well, God is a horrible celestial dictator. But the dictators in the 20th century, well, they just get a pass because, oh, that's right, they're atheists. Oh, and God is such a meanie because he prohibits sexual activity outside the confines of marriage. Don't you love how he channels Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris in the same debate? That was priceless. The celestial dictator.
They're just whining like a little spoiled kid, not getting what he wants. Well, my standards and ethics must be the grounds.
In other words, I don't want God looking me over my shoulder, who's going to hold me accountable when I die, right? That's what it's really about, okay? Exactly. And this appeal to slavery or sexual issues is simply a smokescreen for these people. Because if they really cared about well-being, how come they never mentioned the freaking over 100 million people that were slaughtered in the 20th century by atheist dictators?
I can quote here, the historical fact is that outright rejection of God and institutionalizing of atheism actually does produce evil on incredible levels. We're talking about tens of millions of people as a result of the rejection of God. There is a big list here of atheist regimes like Kim Jong-un in North Korea, French Jacobin, Stalin, Hitler, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Mobutu Seko, Idi Amin, and so forth. They never talk about this. They never talk about the consequences.
It's so funny. It's so funny. When we look what happens when atheists get absolute power, look what they do with it.
And it's consistent throughout history, what they do with it. When they're completing other control, they steamroll all the people that they don't like. By steamroll, I mean outright mass murder.
You see that all the time. They never look in regards of the consequences if atheism or naturalism is true. They only point out, in their view, the problems of theism and Christianity in particular, and the Bible.
Hey, listen, when you reject the God of Christianity, there's no rhyme or reason for anything. There is no objective and obligatory ethics or morals, right? Don't you love it? He goes, I want well-being. Okay, how about this, folks? How many, and I want anyone who wants to contribute to this to come to their mic and answer. How many of you want to make a bet he's pro-abortion? Right?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind.
Well, I thought he was for well-being. There's no well-being for the unborn baby who gets its arms and legs and head.
His quote-unquote well-being ethics are very selective. And that's the point. He's trying to adjudicate.
There was a very recent stream with Matt Dillabloviator about slavery.
Whoa, whoa. Who?
Matt Dillabloviator.
Matt, oh, I'm so glad you pronounced his name right. A lot of people get that pronunciation incorrect. See, you're learning, Otangelo. I'm rubbing off on you.
And I asked him in the side chat, well, Matt, based on what moral standard is slavery wrong? He immediately blocked my account.
That's an honest question. He blocked your account for that? That's an honest question. Really?
Yeah.
On what platform?
It was on the line.
You mean the hang up?
Yeah, the hang up, exactly. Yeah.
They should change the name of the show to The Blockout. I'll tell you, these atheists are more fun than a barrel of monkeys, right?
I mean, really, it's a genuine question. If slavery is wrong, on what grounds? If naturalism is true, how can you say slavery is wrong? Who says it?
I love it.
They just want...
I don't want God to be a celestial dictator, but he wants God to run this universe the way he reasons. Well, guess who's now the celestial dictator?
The problem is they want you to explicitly or implicitly just grant you their premises of ethics. They don't want to have to coherently or cogently argue for them. They just want those premises just to be granted.
You see, when you apply the biblical presuppositional approach, you can destroy their ontology, you can destroy their epistemology, and you can destroy their ethics. You destroy their complete metaphysic containing those three subcategories: ontology, epistemology, and ethics. You can just destroy them on their own terms. The atheists are the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Can I ask you something else, Darth?
Yeah. Oh, one quick thing. You want to know how obsessed some of the atheists are with me out there? They're so obsessed that they're carefully trying to listen to recordings of background sounds in my residence. This is how obsessed they are.
Well, I beat you to that one, Darth. You remember the Discord clicking?
Yes. I hear the click. And the funny thing is, that was an absolute lie. There was no clicking or sound effects.
No, there was
no. She was lying. Shannon Q, who has an email address that says "Elevate the Discourse," right? But because she's pissed that somebody said, hey, Tonlock's in Discord, and they're all doing a live review, and they're mocking and ridiculing you, and because she wanted to lambaste you because you were on Discord and on the live stream and we were mocking her, so she had to find some way to lambaste you. So she lied about hearing Discord clicking sounds.
I mean, she would have been better served by just saying, I know you're on Discord, Antonio.
That's
not
right.
Talking about clicking.
Tonlock the clicker.
But is he actually a constant guest here at Discord?
Who?
This guy, Tom Locke or Antonio, who called in and talked to
Yes. Yeah, Tonlock.
That's me.
Yeah, Tonlock has been a regular.
Oh, that was you? You were excellent. Yeah.
Tonlock, he was good.
I appreciate it.
In fact, I had to apologize to him because my first review when he came back, I was not too keen about it. But then when I thought about it and I reviewed it again, I realized that my evaluation was not correct. Okay. He was good. He's just dealing with a schmuck, right?
I mean, she demonstrated immediately how shallow she is by claiming that she has never heard a coherent God concept and that all descriptions of God which have been presented to her are illogical and therefore
she's
impossible.
that's a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's nonsense. And
hold on a second. Whoa, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I'm getting my producer. Yes. Oh, okay. Put this mystery guest through. We have a mystery guest calling in who wants to go by the initials of SQ. Go ahead, mystery guest. What would you like to say?
Well, this is a good case study though, because Christians, if you actually give any amount of fucks about attempting to convert atheists or teach them about God or whatever it is that you're attempting to do, and you're not just doing this so that you can get your own God points or whatever, or go back to your group of people and talk about how you owned us.
I owned that room.
Super duper, super Christian, because pride, I think, is one of the things you're not supposed to do, right? And that's kind of a prideful thing to do. So you're being prideful by going back to that group and celebrating, and you're not actually doing a good job of figuring out how to convert us by not even talking about the thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
So maybe engage in better dialectics with us and start talking to us like we're normal people who are worthy of interaction and want to engage with you, who have a brain in our heads, instead of just showing up acting like a trolls and then going back and high-fiving each other pridefully.
Well, apparently
how smart you are to be Christians.
Stupider.
Don't tell me that this group of people that are all on Discord servers that are going, can you see how stupid these stupid atheists that are stupid are? We're so much smarter than the stupid atheists, stupids. Oh, really? What would Jesus do, you assholes?
Oh, okay. Stop right there. Yeah. SQ, please. We can't allow that kind of talk here. Okay, so you need to go detox, get sobered up, and then come back when you're sober. Thank you for calling in. Woo! That was a rough anonymous call, wouldn't you say, folks?
Those don't come in too regularly.
No, they don't. But my producer just contacted me into my headset and said we have a special caller in. Her voice sounded strangely familiar. I can't quite place it, but that was an interesting phone call. So it's amazing. The atheists ride high in their saddle when they're on their own servers, when they're on their own YouTube channels, and where they can railroad the conversation. They do the very thing that they accuse me of.
And I just find it interesting. She wants to say I was performatively having the conversation in front of what?
Performatively.
I get in front of 25, 30 other people in the Discord chat, and you literally got hundreds, if not a few thousand people watching your stream, and you're not performatively having a conversation with us.
Do you notice how she said? Notice how she said angrily, "I'm not a moron." When she said of herself, she says, "I'm not a moron." Well, why would she have said that? Because that was the criticisms that was being leveled against her in our Discord live review.
I mean, I didn't even know that was said because I didn't say it. I know you did.
No. Yeah. Do you think it's a coincidence that she said that?
Antonio, next time you call in, I suggest that when she says again that she has never been presented with a coherent or logical concept and description of God's nature, and you bring it up, insist, once you have explained how you understand God's nature, insist and ask her if she actually agrees with your concept, because she claims that she is an atheist, a strong atheist, denying God's existence because of that. So that's where you need to take her down.
Well, here's the problem.
That's right. I agree.
She can't deny that God doesn't exist if God is defined in a way that's not coherent.
Yeah. What is she an atheist for?
Otangelo, does the brown Jablublu exist?
It's a possibility.
So you think it's possible for the brown Jablublu?
If you have evidence for it.
Okay. Do you even know what the brown Jablublu is?
It doesn't matter. Just provide evidence.
You're hanging around the atheists too much. You're learning their dodging tactics. If God is not coherent, okay, then you can't say God doesn't exist. Unless, of course, you can say that.
If the God concept that you present is illogical or incoherent, then you can immediately knock it down and say, well, that's illogical and incoherent. That
Right,
God
that's
which
correct.
you're
Yes.
presenting
Yes.
is not
Yes.
is impossible to exist.
Yes.
But as soon as Antonio provided actually a concept which was consistent, which was not illogical, and which was possible, he immediately denied her position. He refuted immediately her position. But then she went on to other topics, and that was not established, because at that precise moment, you could have knocked her down and said, well, Sharon Q, your position is unwarranted because I have just provided you a concept of a God which is not irrational or illogical and is possible.
Absolutely. And the fact is, you have to have some sort of a digestible inclination to the idea of God to be an atheist towards it.
Like, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Todd, please stop the clicking. I hear the clicking when you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, I like when we bring up a very simple concept of God's nature. He is the ultimate, the eternal creator, intelligent.
Did you say ultimate?
Conscient.
What do you mean by ultimate? That's such a slippery term. What do you mean by ultimate? It's so slippery.
I'll remove ultimate and say just conscious, intelligent, powerful, eternal creator.
It's just, that's so slippery. You sound like a double glazing window salesman.
So what is incoherent or illogical about that concept?
It's just slippery like a double glazing window salesman.
Yeah.
Look, if it's good enough for the doctor, professor, career philosopher Stephen Law to say that when I brought up the word ultimate and I explain what it is, then it's good enough for me to say that you're being slippery. I'm not ridiculing you. I'm ridiculing Stephen Law.
Darth, I've listened to your stream with Tom Rabbit. And I saw that he insisted several times in the same question, which was, I'll quote here, you have affirmed that either the Christian God exists or no God exists, so there's only one God to talk about. He asked that several times, and you were not straightforward answering to his question. What was your logic behind not answering what he was asking?
Because I wanted him first to explain what his atheism was. This was a diversionary tactic. We were supposed to have a discussion on atheism.
Okay.
And he wasted the conversation.
So let's suppose that wouldn't have been...
hold on a second. Tangelo,
topic.
do you think that he was being sincere that whole time, or he was just doing a performance of, as the Yiddish say, shtick? That's all it was. It was shtick.
I had 2 interactions with him. I don't know if you have listened one he put on his channel.
No.
And
he's painfully
his intention
stupid
was very clear. Yeah, his intention was very clear. He just was looking to find a way to make me look bad, to get me, to beat me in the argument. And in the
This is proof positive how craven they are. This is proof positive. They're not seeking truth and reason. They're just simply trying to stalemate any interaction or throw out something that will nullify what you say, not provide a defeater, but something that will just stalemate you of whatever you say so that it doesn't lead to theological significance. These atheists are a train wreck, and he's just another further example of this. Okay, I'm more than able and equipped to defend the Christian worldview, which I do all the time, and the Christian God. He just didn't want to talk about his atheism. Okay, see, the fact of the matter is, he offered a brief syllogism that if the Christian God exists, then he would believe in him. He doesn't believe in him, therefore the Christian God doesn't exist. Here's the problem. Okay, when we look at the premise, he doesn't believe in God. Okay, either he doesn't believe in God with a reason or without reason. Okay, now, do you think that he's going to concede that he doesn't believe in God? He does not believe in God without a reason? So then if he says he has a reason, okay, for that belief, then this crosses over into the territory of knowledge. It's not reason with a warrant or a justification, which would be knowledge. So then how does he know that God doesn't exist? Based upon what? How could he defend that? The answer is he couldn't. So the only way to avoid this is he would have to say, I don't believe in God, and I do so irrationally. And that is precisely what the Bible says they do. Look, Tom, do you think if he actually felt he was intellectually adept and capable of defending atheism, do you think he would resort to these shenanigans? No, he wouldn't.
What I wonder is this. He said, premise one, either the Christian God exists or no God exists. And I don't know if that is what you defend, but I wouldn't specify God as specifically the Christian God. I would just make the dichotomy, either there is a God or gods or there aren't. That's a true dichotomy. Yeah. I wouldn't specify right at the beginning that we are talking about the Christian God. I don't know if he was trying to stalemate you on that. Can you clarify?
No. It was all. Listen. It was all I mean, he's a grown adult. This is all adolescent antics, like he's at the cafeteria table, lunch hour. Okay, that's how bad it is. This is how bad these atheists. They have to do shtick. They have to do vaudeville. They have to do kabuki dances.
But you know, the entire 1 hour of conversation with him, he always returned back to that same question, and you never answered it.
Right? Because these. Okay, do you understand that when my interlocutors are trying to throw out diversionary tactics, I'm not going to go for the bait. You understand?
Well, sometimes it's fun to go for the bait. I'm done.
Okay, well then go for it. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not your sock puppet.
No, of course not. But I'm just wondering. Let's suppose you would have accepted to answer his question. What would have been it?
He would have gotten destroyed, as the atheists do. It's not that substantive. Okay.
How would you answer?
Okay, give me the question precisely, and I'll show you how to answer.
Okay. You have affirmed. He asked in different versions, but essentially always the same thing. You have affirmed that either the Christian God exists or no God exists. There's only one God to talk about. And then again, if the Christian God is falsified or there is an incoherency in the concept of the Christian God, it follows that no God exists.
No. You're not understanding.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's
what he said. That's what he asked you.
No. It only follows from within the Christian worldview that either the Christian God exists or he does not. Outside of the Christian worldview, that dichotomy wouldn't hold.
Right.
Okay.
No secret at all. I think if you would have answered just this, probably the entire conversation would have gone.
If you can't step outside the Christian worldview and say either the Christian God exists or no God exists. You can't say that.
That's what he asked you.
Yeah, that proposition can only be maintained within the Christian worldview.
But he supposedly said that you make that claim.
No, I say the only God that can and does exist is the Christian God. That's my claim.
Right. But that's not what he said that you say. He said that you say you have affirmed, that's what he's claiming, that either the Christian God exists or no God exists.
Yeah, that's a dichotomy that can only be invoked out of the Christian worldview.
I would say you said differently right before that. You said
you can only
Christian
offer.
framework.
Look, Antangelo, you can only offer the hypothetical dichotomy only within the Christian worldview. Outside of the Christian worldview, you couldn't. Okay.
Well, you could say.
Okay. Did you hear him say if the Christian God exists, he would believe in him? Premise 2, he doesn't believe in the Christian God. Conclusion, God doesn't exist. You heard that, right? That is asinine. This is adolescent at its best reasoning. It's sophistry, because I can just simply say, when you don't believe in God, do you believe in God with a reason or without reason?
I am not sure, but I think he tried to take advantage of when you said.
He didn't take. Are you up to you know what? I like you, Antangelo. I think you're a very smart guy, but sometimes I don't get your judgment. He's not that smart. He's not a good debater. All he was doing was shtick the whole time. Do you know what shtick is? Do you know what the Yiddish word shtick means?
I know what it is.
Yeah, that's all he was doing.
I agree with what you just said. Either when we are talking about the Christian framework, either the Christian God exists or the Christian God does not exist. But you cannot say either the Christian God exists or no God exists. Maybe the Christian God doesn't exist, but a God from another religion exists. I don't know if he was trying to say that you are wrong in regards to that.
Listen, all of my response was simply to showcase he was not a sincere interlocutor. This was all a performance. There wasn't a sincere syllable or consonant in anything he said. Okay?
I think we can say either there is a God.
The atheists weren't even, listen, even the atheists don't believe that his performance was good. Those who made those comments that he did well in the comment section, they're just psychotic. He didn't. If he actually had the intellectual ability to debate the issue, he would have.
So he presented you an argument.
Well, Darth, I think we can say two things. We can say either there is a God or gods, or there is no God. That's a true dichotomy. Or we can say there is the Christian God, or there is not the Christian God. That is also a true and correct dichotomy. But we cannot say
there can't be gods plural, because that would not be coherent. Because in order to be God, you have to be ultimate. If there's more than one God, then neither one of them would be ultimate, and they wouldn't be God. We're not talking about creatures that have superpowers that we call gods. When we talk about the word God, we're talking about creator. We're talking about the ultimate, the absolute.
Okay, my point is to make correct dichotomies. Okay, so you can either say there is a God or there is no God, or you can say there is a Christian God or there is no Christian God. But if you say either there is the Christian God or there is no God at all, then you go
either there's a God or not.
Right.
And the Christian God is the only viable candidate. All other God concepts implode. They're not coherent.
Right, but that's already a second question which comes after that.
We have a gentleman.
There can't be multiple gods with a capital G.
We have a person in here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, we have a person in here who called you a piece of S earlier.
Well, why did you do that?
Allenbert, right? You called him a piece of S. Can you defend that?
Who did?
Allenbert who?
What's the username? Oh,
Allenbert.
Allenbert. Okay, so why did you call me that, Allenbert?
It's probably AFK.
So what we have is a drive-by troll. Okay. You know, they want to say nasty things about me, but when I ask them to repeat and support what they say, all of a sudden they're as quiet as a church mouse. And if you're fearful of getting muted, I'll guarantee you won't get muted. Okay. You can have 60 minutes, you can have 2 minutes, 3 minutes of uninterrupted time. What spineless jellyfishes they are.
Darth, is Tom Rabbit permitted to come here to the Discord stream, or is he blocked or banned?
I don't know. I don't know if he's banned.
Okay.
Check the
I would
ban list.
really-
But he's not going to listen. Number one thing you can take to the bank is he's not going to come in here and converse as an honest adult. That's not something he's going to do. And the reason why is he's completely inept as an atheist to discuss and defend his atheism like an adult.
I don't understand why in an hour, during 1 hour, he insisted in that question, which in my view is very easy to be answered, and we just did it. So
Yeah,
I don't know
the
what his
reason why
point
is
was.
why. Well, my point is I'm not going to segue on until we resolve the issue. What I want to know is what kind of an atheist are you? That's all. And he refused to answer it. Do you know we have that question answered and resolved in 10 seconds on a regular basis?
He
Hey,
claimed
Darth,
that he isn't an atheist. Maybe he is an agnostic or self-describes himself as an agnostic. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you know what? You know what? He's
Atheist.
not really. Look, he's not really interesting or worthy of being spoken about in terms of the regular atheist and the atheist community. Okay. He's just in it for the lulls. He's a teenager trapped in an adult's body.
We had somebody say on the side real quick that he gave an argument.
I misspoke during the interaction, saying he was a teenager trapped in a child's body. I misspoke. I should have said adult. Okay, he's not really that interesting. Okay, he's somebody who can't even get regular viewership for his channels unless he steals my content and records it.
Yeah, I think it was an entire hour.
I'm not one to agree with
wasted.
the whole thing, but that's true. That is true.
I think it was an entire hour which was wasted.
Of course, he's a waste of time. Look, he's just another loser atheist who's on his way to hell, and yet he mostly hangs out in the atheist ghettos where they can each give themselves back massages, okay, right, and make themselves feel good that they're not going to hell when they know that they are. Hey, listen, it's no skin off my nose if you mock or ridicule me, okay? You're gonna stand before God, and all of this shenanigans, these verbal shenanigans, isn't fooling anybody. You're not even fooling your other atheists because they know it's all incoherent claptrap themselves. They won't usually admit it, but they know it's claptrap. They know they can't defend the statement there is no evidence for God. They know it because if they could, they would. I've been asking atheists for years, defend the statement there is no evidence for God, and they can't do it.
Darth,
do you have a response to the argument provided?
You're not welcome in here, chum. Yeah.
So
that was another troll.
I think my dad was talking to my boss this afternoon, and my boss is pretty well connected in with banks and stuff since he buys a lot of cars and stuff and he exports them to the States. and he was talking to my dad about this whole coronavirus thing. And he said that he was talking to a woman that's a really head up in the bank. And at the beginning of this whole pandemic, she sat down with, I think, who was it? It was either the mayor or some other word. And the doctor basically assigned to this province, to where I'm at. And immediately they said, I think in the beginning of the conference back in February of 2020, that we need that we're gonna shut down everything. And then she said, "What do you mean shut everything down? I have to go collect 3 keys." And then immediately they backed off on that, and this whole thing is around health, right? So she said that when they said that, she immediately knew that this whole thing was just basically bullshit. And my boss further went on to tell my father that this whole thing, the reason why they're doing it, is to eliminate small business, because throughout this whole thing, basically 70 to 90% of all small businesses have just been wiped off the map completely. So you take these big corporations like Ford, Tesla, Amazon, Walmart. Every year, they file their taxes 1 year prior. So the government gets their taxes all on time. They don't need to chase them. They don't need to add any personnel to it. They just get them. With these small businesses, they don't. They don't get them a year prior. So they need to hire personnel and, spend $1 billion to get $1 million. That's just fucking insanity. Why would you do that? So if there's anyone in here that has any doubts about this whole Rona thing, I can put your mind to rest now that this whole thing was just about taxes, eliminating small businesses, and basically making people want to stay at home more, because I'm pretty sure there's some folks in here that only pay with cash, and that's smart.
All right. If you want to continue this thread, go down to a room below, okay? Because we were talking about atheism. Thank you.
I apologize.
I appreciate
No,
you
don't have to apologize. I'm just saying that if you want to take this thread, take it down to the room below. Okay?
All right.
I'm not criticizing you, finding fault. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to be going to dinner in a couple of minutes. Anybody else have any other comments about the atheists just behaving as usual, like little, ADD children who didn't take their Ritalin?
I heard a side comment here and there about Tom Rabbit giving an argument, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean, because it didn't sound like an argument to me. Like you had asked you some questions and you had answered them.
Yeah, and I asked him how he justified one of the premises. Okay, how does he justify the premise he doesn't believe in God? Do you think he's going to get away with just saying, "Well, I don't believe in God"? Say, "Well, good." That just simply say is, "Do you believe without or with it? Do you have a reason why you don't believe, or is your non-belief irrational?" Okay, and then does anyone think that he's going to admit that it's irrational? So then he's going to have a reason why he doesn't believe. And then when he gives that, he won't be able to defend it. Okay?
Yeah. Does that
the difference
Does that apply to agnostics, or is that only an atheist contention?
Agnosticism is simply closet atheism, sir.
I guess.
Yeah, because atheism, see, the atheists of the last generation have realized that they truly can't defend the falsity of God. So what they're attempting to do is redefine atheism in a way that insulates themselves from having to defend it, and they're making their position pretty much indistinguishable from classical agnosticism. But because they don't want to admit to that, they came up with these dumbass categorizations such as agnostic atheism or Gnostic atheism. It's pathetic, imbecilic, adolescent reasoning. It's just horrendously bad. I mean, I can go through it because I have to leave in a minute, but it's just horrendously bad.
I don't think agnosticism equals atheism. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Are you an agnostic?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Okay. Do you claim? Do you claim? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Agnosticism encompasses both knowledge and belief. The difference between knowledge and belief sometimes is a very fine line. Okay. Rarely do people believe or not believe something without reason. Okay. So once you have a reason or warrant or justification, then that belief is generally referred to as some type of knowledge. It may be considered strong knowledge, might be weak knowledge. Okay. So the point is this. You claim that you do not believe in God's existence and you don't believe in his non-existence. Is that your position?
Well, can I counter real quick? Does this only apply to
is that your position? Is that your position?
Well, I'm trying to just ask. Will this only
is that
apply
your
to
position? Third time I've asked.
Hey, would you relax for a second? I'm just
fourth
trying
time. Is that your position?
What, that I think God doesn't exist?
Okay,
What, can you repeat that?
do I have to ask the question a fifth time?
You did. Okay. Again,
Okay. Is it your position that you do not positively believe in God and you do not positively believe that God does not exist?
I think an entity we could define as God could exist. I'm just not sure.
Okay. Was that an answer to my question?
What, are you just expecting?
Was that an answer to my question? Hey, listen, dude, dodge another question and I'm going to ban you from the server. Okay. So for the past 5 minutes, the past 5 minutes, you've been bullshitting when I'm trying to talk to you like a grown up. Okay. Are you a grown man? Are you a grown man?
Oh boy.
Are you a grown man? I am. I'm a grown man. Are you a grown man?
25. So yeah, what's up?
Okay, good. So you're 25. Then start talking and acting like you're an adult instead of a snot-nosed teenager at the cafeteria table. Okay. Now I asked you a question. I'll repeat it again and see what happens if you dodge the question. Okay. Is it your position that you? Okay. Bye. Hit the road, clown.
Never ends with these people, man. It never, ever ends.
And you know what? And people claim I'm not patient. I gave him enough rope and he hung himself. Okay?
We're still on that journey to figure out the $164 question. Where do they grow, these people?
Where do they grow these people? Where do they grow these people? Anyway, I am off to dinner, and I will try to be back on in maybe an hour and a half, and we can have some more fun. But at least we packed them out in here for the last hour or so, right? We had a pretty good audience in here. Not bad attendance. All right.
Yeah, that was great. It was dead for a few days, and then it all of a sudden became packed.
We had 43 people in here a few minutes ago. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, I'm off to dinner, folks.
We had on the Supreme Leader streams someone who called Darth and Otangelo two clowns.
Why would he call you a clown? I mean, they may not like Darth, but like, what do they see about you that's clownish?
Yeah. Whatever.
What? They were just like trolling in the text chat and just called you guys clowns or something?
Yeah.